Hey everyone, before we get started, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. It means the world to me. Now, let's begin. I used to think love had to feel like lightning. That if your stomach didn't flip, if your breath didn't catch, if the second someone stepped close, then it probably wasn't a real thing. I didn't realize how toxic that idea was until I blew up my entire life chasing it. My name is Sarah. I'm 36 now. 2 years ago, I walked away from a calm, kind marriage because I was desperate for a feeling that never even existed. My husband, Nathan, wasn't flashy, but he was solid. Quiet voice, gentle hands, the type of guy who'd scrape the ice off my windshield without being asked and slip a little note into my work bag that just said, "Hope the day treats you soft today." My mom always said men like that were extinct. But somewhere along the line, I stopped noticing him. Or maybe I just didn't want to notice anymore. Our life together started feeling like a cage. Same routine every day. Wake up, go to work, eat dinner, watch our shows, go to sleep over and over. Then I met Ryan. He worked for the marketing agency we hired at the office. Perfect suit. Killer smile. The kind of guy whose energy walks into the room 5 seconds before he does. He laughed big, flirted without thinking twice, and made every decision on pure impulse. Everything Nathan wasn't. It started with just lunch, then late-night texts, then little secrets I swore were no big deal. But secrets are like loose strings. Pull one and a whole sweater falls apart. One rainy night after a work party, Ryan offered to drive me home. I knew I should have said no. I really did. But he gave me that crooked grin and said, "You look like someone who's overdue for a little adventure." Something inside me snapped. I went home with him that night. And the worst part, in that moment, I didn't even feel bad. I felt alive, wild, wanted. I confused all of that for love. For 6 months, I lived 2 lives. I'd come home to a man who trusted me completely, while I pour my heart into someone who never once promised me tomorrow. Every lie chipped another piece off the marriage I claimed I still wanted. Until one day, there was nothing left to save. I left Nathan on an ordinary Tuesday morning. He was making coffee, humming that same off-key song he always hummed. He smiled at me the same way he smiled every morning. And I told him I was done. He didn't yell. He didn't beg. He just looked at me for a long quiet minute like he was trying to memorize what I looked like one last time. Then he said, "If your heart's already somewhere else, Sarah, I'm not going to chain you here." His voice only broke once. Mine didn't break at all. I told myself I was choosing passion, choosing life, choosing the big love I thought I deserved. Ryan didn't even flinch when I told him I'd left my husband. He just grinned and said, "Perfect. No more sneaking around." He kissed me and said, "We were about to build something amazing." I believed him. For almost a whole year, I believed him, but fireworks die fast. Excitement has an expiration date. And people who live on impulse rarely stick around when things get real. First time he canceled plans because he needed space. I swallowed the knot in my throat. First time he vanished for a whole week and with no explanation, I accepted the lame excuse. First time he rolled his eyes and told me I was too much. I convinced myself I was a problem. Then came my birthday. Nathan never forgot my birthday. Not once. He always did something small but thoughtful. Ryan texted me at 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes before the day was over. "Sorry, babe. Crazy day. You good?" I stared at those words until the screen went dark. And for the first time since I walked out on my marriage, the truth finally slammed into me. I had left a man who truly loved me for a guy who couldn't even be bothered to remember the day I was born. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in my lap while the clock ticked past midnight. The apartment was so quiet, a hurt, empty, heavy quiet that presses on your chest. I thought about Nathan's rough, steady hands. His quiet laugh that used to warm me from the inside out. The way he stayed kind even when I handed him every reason to hate me. How did I miss what he was until he was gone? Ryan never loved me. Not really. He loved the rush, the game, the idea of me. Every late-night text, every stolen kiss, every burst of adrenaline, it was all smoke. I'd been chasing fireflies and swearing they were stars. The next morning, I asked Ryan why he couldn't even text me on my birthday. He shrugged. I was busy. That was it. No sorry, no effort, nothing. The magic I'd thrown my whole life away for gone. All that was left was a big hollow nothing. That's when I knew. Leaving Nathan was the biggest mistake I'll ever make. Not just because I lost him, but because I traded him for someone who could never ever fill those shoes. I traded safety for chaos, loyalty for cheap thrills, real love for fantasy. I ended it with Ryan that same week. Calmly, no screaming, no big scene. I just told him the truth. I left a man who actually loved me for someone who never would. And I was done pretending this was anything real. He didn't fight it, he just walked out. And in the quiet after he left, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Honesty. Painful but clean. I wish I could go back to Nathan. Fall on my knees. Beg him to take me back. But that chapter is closed. The life I threw away isn't waiting for me anymore. All I can do is carry what I learned. Real love doesn't always shout. It doesn't always give you butterflies every single day. Sometimes it's just there, steady, quiet, showing up in the ordinary moments that string a whole life together. Now, when I think about Ryan, I don't miss him. I feel sad for the time I wasted running after something fake. And when I think about Nathan, I feel this quiet, aching gratitude for the love I didn't know how to see until it was gone. I left my husband for the guy I cheated with, and I will regret it for the rest of my life. But from that regret, I finally learned the truth. Not every spark is love. And the greatest love of all is often the one that never needed fireworks to prove it was real. Maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to find that kind of love again. This time I'll know exactly what it looks like and I'll never let it go. 13.5s fast.